baby, oh, and I drink for you one time.
I was sitting here dancing, okay? I ain't gonna lie. I told y'all I watched it 3 times. Hey, you guys, welcome back. I had to do this Beyonce Black is King review. Y'all know I am all about my spiritual journey, being in alignment, elevating to a higher level of consciousness. If you're not a part of my Patreon group, I'll just let you guys know, like, really a truth seeker. You know, that's what my whole journey is about right now. And Beyonce Black is King, it's in alignment. So if you have not already seen that visual album, if you have a laptop, you can simply just go online, go search up the Disney Channel, and you can enroll for the Disney Channel for a month. It's $6.99, $7. Normally a movie is more than $7 just to watch one movie. So you could just go ahead and pay for the Disney for 1 month. Go ahead and cancel it after you watch the Beyonce Black is King visual album. If you have not yet seen it, I watched it 3 times last night. That's how good it is to me. I hope that she put it on some type of disc or something so I can have that in the future for when I have grandchildren. So I can show my grandchildren this album. It is amazing. Beyonce is a genius. Do you understand me? When I say Beyonce is taking no prisoners when it comes to showing African Americans where their history lies, who they are, the stuff that has been taken away from you, and understanding who you are. On her album, the song Bigger, if you feel insignificant, you better think again. Better wake up because you're part of something way bigger. That's what Black is King is about. All up and through there. She is a genius. So let me give you guys my personal review. I've already been up for a while doing business coaching sessions. So I've seen some of the reviews online saying that it's demonic, culture appropriation, which I don't really know how you can culture appropriate something that's a part of your own history. African Americans are descendants of slaves who also came from Africa. It's a part of our history, even though it's been taken from us and we don't really know as much as we should about our history. It's in our bloodline, it's in our DNA. And it's about time that we stop denying it. And that's what I feel like Black is King is all about. So let me get started. I did take some notes. Like I said, I watched it 3 times. That's how good it was to me. I feel like if you are not an artistic person, number one, if you are not a person who's into art, who understands, if you're the type of person where you could go into an art museum or any type of museum, if you look at a painting on a wall, you can't see the storyline, you can't see the meaning behind that art, this visual album is probably not for you, because you're going to see all types of stuff that really doesn't mean probably what you think it does. As well as if you are super religious and not a spiritual person, because let's be honest, as African Americans, like I previously said, our history has been stripped from us. And the saddest part of that is that a lot of the things that are a part of us have been told to us that is evil. And if you have not been the type of person where you're willing to do the research and learn about your own history, where you come from, what your ancestors were doing, then again, Black is King is probably not for you. So I did take some notes. I watched it 3 times. I'll probably keep watching it until my month subscription is over, just in case I see something different the next time. The first song that you will see as far as the visual album is the song Bigger. And it comes in with a brand new baby and her pretty much talking about teaching this child who they are, knowing who they are, knowing where they come from, knowing everything from the beginning of time is pretty much passing the fruit. You know how she says, I be the root, you be the tree, pass on the fruit that was given to me, is pretty much the beginning of the visual album that you'll see. And so she's passing pretty much information through the song Bigger to this brand new child, into the village, the culture, the family, kind of going through like a ritual of this brand new baby. Something similar to being baptized in like Catholics. You know how they take the baby and sprinkle the water on the baby? It's kind of like that. And so, y'all, it's so good. So the beginning of the movie to me is all about birth. It's all about, I took notes, you guys, because it's a lot. It's all about being taught life, knowing who you are, the beginning of time, knowing where you come from, and that your ancestors are always with you, right? Because we have this thing in my Patreon group where we, you know, I allow people to ask whatever questions that's on the same spiritual journey as me. I'm not judgmental. I'm not judgmental about anything. I feel like if you have to be in a space where you're on a spiritual journey and you can't ask specific questions, then what is the purpose? You should be able to ask. Even the Bible says, seek and ye shall find. So you can't seek if you can't ask questions. So we do that in my Patreon group, right? Knowing that your ancestors, even though they may not be here physically, they're always here in spirit. And what I was saying was, you know how people do like altar work and all those type of things? You don't even really need no altar. Even though they talk about altars in the Bible as well, they put things on the altar for God. All Christians don't read the Bible, but they do altar work in the Bible. You don't really need all that because your ancestors are already with you in your DNA. They never go. They're here spiritually. They're just not here in the physical sense. And one thing I also noticed throughout the entire movie is that there was always a moon in the background, and I'll come back to that. So that's the first song, is Bigger. The next song you hear is Way Back. To me, I feel like Way Back, after the brand new child has been born into the world, he's pretty much talked, like I said, about his ancestors, about who he is, about where he comes from. And Way Back is kind of like his journey into the physical realm, right? Because we're spiritual first, having a human earthly experience. All of us spirit first. Way Back is kind of like coming into the physical realm and having this journey throughout your life as a young child and the things that you are going to. So it's pretty much that journey from innocence into now you're going to go through all of these different things, and I'll get to those things. So I feel like Way Back portion is about youth. At this point, the child leaves the home and he's still a child, just like most of us, okay? A lot of us get judged for these, but this is just a part of life. Everybody don't go through the same journey, but those of you who have went through this journey, I could raise my hand and say I'm one of those people. Sometimes you choose the wrong crowd. Sometimes you make the wrong choices. So this portion of the movie was all about being aware of the type of choices that you make, that life is all about a set of choices, and depending on what type of choice that is, it's going to lead you either to the left or to the right. Whatever that journey is, be careful of the choices that you make in life. So the child pretty much leaves home, and while he's leaving home, it's almost as if he's forgetting who he is, right? We all do this. We know that the Bible says, don't even have to say the Bible, but even in comedic principles, comedic science, comedic knowledge, it says first know yourself, and then you can know everything else, right? The child pretty much chooses the wrong crowd, and at this moment, this is the first time he starts to forget who he is, who his father is, who is a king, okay? He is royalty bloodline, and he starts to forget that. He runs into somebody, and this is pretty much making the first wrong choice in your life. So this is when the song Jealousy comes in, and it's so crazy how she set this up in the video, because you can literally see full life expression through this entire visual album. Jealousy song comes on. To me, I got from that is, because you know he say,
I got too much gold to try on.
So this is like the allure of temptation. This is the allure of like fame and riches and women and sex and drugs, and that's where he is. Even at a young boy, he's at this moment where he's facing temptation. He doesn't yet make the decisions, but it's like all around him. And at the same time, he's starting to forget who he actually is, that he's the son of a king. He's in that blood royalty line, okay? So yeah, the lure of luxury, riches, success, fun, drugs, the physical world. You know, this is the low vibrational energy, is everything that deals with our flesh. High vibrational energy is everything that deals with the spirit, okay? So then right after that song, you hear the song Scar. We all know that Scar is the uncle, okay? Remind you of Set. If you think about Osiris and Haru and Set, okay? So Scar is pretty much representative of Set, in my opinion. So Scar, and I'm not going to tell you guys what you see in the movie. I'm just giving my own personal interpretation, right? This is what I got watching it. This is pretty much now he's coming into the dark side. of life. This is where he's actually giving into temptation. This is that low vibrational energy. All of us go through there. Some of us may not get too deep into it, into the dark energy, low vibrational energy. This is sex, drugs, partying, the lure of success, money, material possessions. All of those things are really low vibrational energy, okay? So this is the allure of that. And then his dad comes in and tries to save him, and he ends up dying, just like in The Lion King. So at this point, what I get from the visual album is, once his dad dies, and we talking about Scar in the movie, right? He runs away. He runs away. And this is the part, in my personal opinion, when something happens that we didn't plan to happen and we wish didn't happen, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be a job, a friendship, in your family. These are all of the scars of the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine energy. Now he's faced with feelings of guilt, shame, anger, frustration, disappointment. And throughout the entire movie, you always see Beyonce, and you always see like a man that has on green paint. To me, I'm thinking I have this person right, but to me, it's almost as if the person with green paint represented Tehuti. Because I believe Tehuti was always green, right? If I'm not right, place it down in the comment if you know where I'm going. If you're on the same spiritual journey as far as learning about your past and where you came from. So to me, I feel like when he run away after his, you know, entanglement, his entanglement with Set or Scar, he runs away and he has feelings of guilt, shame, anger, frustration, disappointment. This is the wounded masculine, wounded feminine energy. But his ancestors are still always with him. So at this point, the song The Now comes on. And to me, I feel like the now is actually the Now River, but also the now, like being in the now. So now it's kind of like you done completely forgot who you were. You in the now of who you are, because now you have feelings of guilt, shame, and anger, and frustration, and disappointment. So you don't even want to believe that you a king anymore. Like all this stuff you've been going through your life at this point, you don't want to believe that you're a king. You don't want to believe that you are worthy. You don't want to believe that you can have anything you want in your life. This is where you are, the now. This is pretty much at the point where you pretty much lose all knowledge of self, your history, your ancestry. And then, of course, here come Puma, you know, Hakuna Matata. And this is, to me, represented like, you know, spirit can bring you people to speak into your life somewhere where you are in your destiny. Just looking at, sometimes it be people like on YouTube and you be like, oh, I was thinking that the whole time. I finally found somebody who is going through the same thing I'm going through, or feel something that I'm feeling. Or like, even if you're on a spiritual journey like me, I'm on this same journey. Now I finally found somebody who's doing this too, that I can actually talk to and comment and kind of have a conversation with. So that's what Puma represented to me. This is also the same time where the song Move Forever, and it shows Jay-Z and Beyonce. To me, it was, again, the way they show this part of the movie is kind of like your ancestors are always with you. They switch back and forth between showing the kids as well as showing Jay-Z and Beyonce. And I'm not going to give away too much. I mean, y'all already heard the song, so it's not like I'm giving away too much. You've heard the album, hopefully, from last year. So I'm just telling my personal interpretation, right? To me, it was as if they were showing the youth as well as with the adults, as well as with your ancestors. Like, these things never end. Even if you don't see these people, they're always around. They're always protecting you. All you have to do is acknowledge it and accept it. That's what I got from Move Forever. To me, it was about still being in self-denial, kind of just going through the motions. Now you at the point where you just don't care. You know, he already done went through the wounded feminine and masculine energy. So now it's kind of like not quite in the dark feminine, but like right at the door of dark feminine, dark masculine energy. It's a concept of good versus evil, of dark versus light. To me, this is also representative of Ma'at and Isfet. Am I pronouncing that right? I'll put it down here because I don't always know how to pronounce these words. I'm just learning. I'll get better for those of you who like to judge people, okay? But this is pretty much us understanding the constant battle between light and dark, good and evil. Everything has a duality in it. If you know the 7 Hermetic principles, you know about the law of duality. And this is like being constantly present throughout life. The next song that came in is, I don't really know which song this was, but they were kind of like, now he's kind of like an older guy. Now he's partying. He's all up in that dark masculine, dark energy. He is over the guilt. He is over the shame. He like, forget everything. I'm about to have fun. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna party. I can do drugs if I want to. Have women if I want to. That's what I'm doing. So he's all in dark masculine, dark feminine. If you was a woman, put it in our version too. Dark masculine, dark feminine energy. That low vibrational energy. Even though it does come to help you, because sometimes you have to get in that energy to really find who you are, right? And I'll get to that part. Then it's like he has a in that moment, it's almost like seeing or having a flashback or recognizing that what he's doing isn't really what he should be doing. Like, he know he's doing something wrong. He know he has a purpose for his life, and he's running away from his purpose. And you see like the evil guy show up in the car. He kind of runs away. To me, again, that's like Ma'at versus Isfet, good versus evil, dark versus light. And he runs again. And the next scene, you see like a whole bunch of people painted green. To me, green still represent Tehuti, you know, knowledge. And they all have their eyes covered up. So to me, it's like being blind to the fact. Like, not really seeing who you are. Like, everybody is covering their eyes, blind to the truth. That's what I wrote in my notes. Blind to the truth. And now, because he's starting to recognize that he's doing things he shouldn't be doing and that he's running away from his past, it's almost like this is the beginning of his journey for the search of self. The kingdom is within you, right? Then the song King Already comes on in the visual album. So now King Already comes on is pretty much him at the beginning stages of remembering who he is, but he's not quite there. So he remember who he is. He's kind of frustrated about the whole journey of trying to figure out who he is and where he belongs in life. Should he still feel guilty? Is his dad dying still his fault? Then the song Water comes on. You know that.
Oh, baby, oh, and I drink for you one time.
I was sitting here dancing, okay? I ain't gonna lie. I told y'all I watched it 3 times. Again, you see the green man and you keep seeing the moon. I'm like, okay, Beyonce, why you keep putting the moon in there? Because you know my name means moon. So okay, that's a different video. But let's get back to the subject. So water comes on. To me, I feel like the symbolism of water, you know, that's feminine energy again. It's about rebirth. It's about rejuvenation. It's about feminine energy. It's about the womb of life, you know. And that's what I get from the water song. So then this is when the woman shows up in his life. In my personal opinion, I feel like the woman came along. This is the beginning stages of his rebirth. Okay, going through the womb, going through the water. You need that feminine energy to be reborn again.
And the Bible tell you that.
But anyway, y'all know I talk about masculine and feminine energy balance. That's what I'm about, okay? So I'm always going to say that. So anyway, the woman shows up in his life and she pretty much helps him to become reborn, renewed, rejuvenated, helps him to remember who he is. That's her purpose. When you talk about a helpmate, a lot of people think a helpmate, it means that you're supposed to be your husband's or your spouse's maid, cook, clean, and all of this stuff. That's not the only way you could be a helpmate in life. But that's another video too. It's none of my business. So she helps bring him back to himself, helps him to acknowledge who he is, stop being in denial like you are a king. And I'm tired of you playing games. It's time for you to start recognizing who you are and walk in the shoes that were already given to you, like you're a king. So she pretty much comes into his life to help him recognize who he is. The next song is Brown Skin Girl. I feel like Brown Skin Girl, when you look in the visual album, it's about family. It's about the importance of family, togetherness, strength, stability, structure, and understanding the significance of having a whole unit. But the first thing is that this man must understand that he is royalty, he is king. In there, they actually describe, a guy is describing the purpose of a king means that he takes care of business. He acknowledges the things that he is supposed to be, have headship over. And that includes uplifting a black woman, understanding her role is not to be under you, but she is your equal. That doesn't mean she does everything that you could do, but the things that you lack in, she is stronger in. So that make you guys both equal, because there are things she's strong in that you are weak in. There are ways she is weak where you are strong. That make you equal when you come together, not one lower than the other. The next song is Bow Before You. I think that's the name of that song. This is when they actually get married. I feel like this part of the visual album is the Black is King album, is knowing who you are. He's finally figuring out, like, okay, I know who I am. He's starting to get it. He's starting to understand. And she's pretty much telling him that he's a king. And if he can't, even if he can't see it or he doesn't believe it himself, that is who he is. And you know, like the womb of the woman, women being creator spirit, life spirit, she's pretty much speaking life into him to help him to get back into the role that he left, you know, as a young child. It shows the masculine and feminine energy balance between them coming together and making a whole and sharing roles and creating wholeness and strength. And this is his journey back to the return of himself. Then the song The Other Side comes on. Beyonce puts the baby into the water. To me, I felt like there was kind of like trouble going on in the land. And before she was going to lose her child, she was willing to let the child go. And you know, for me personally, from an artistic standpoint, I felt like sometimes you have to lose yourself in order to find yourself. That's what I felt when I watched this part. He kind of goes through the baby going through the water and then going to the other side. To me, I felt like this is the point where, oh, he actually sees his dad and he breaks down and cry. So it's almost like, oh, he already was there with his new woman feeding into him and letting him know, like, no, you're a king. And it's time for you to walk in the shoes that you're supposed to be walking in. It's time for you to stop playing games. And now he finally sees his dad. It's like everything just finally comes together. He breaks down crying. And it's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. All those previous feelings through that wounded energy, that dark energy where he felt guilt, shame, it all comes like rushing out through this moment. And he's finally healing. And this is where you ascend from that wounded, dark, feminine, masculine energy into the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Of course, he travels to the other side. Then you pretty much get a version of the creation story from the beginning of time, who you are, where you come from, understanding who your ancestors are, accepting them, acknowledging them. Stop seeing your history as if it was evil because somebody told you your history was evil, and really accept who you are and stop playing games, right? Understand why your history was stolen from you, why you are powerful, standing up against adversaries with the help of the divine feminine energy mixed with the divine masculine energy. And then the song My Power comes on. And I feel like this is the part where he was ready to fight and she was letting him know, because all women don't play the same position. All men don't play the same position. So some women are actually on this earth and they obtain or they hold within them the warrior spirit. And this doesn't mean like always ready to stand on the front line, but it means if I have to stand on the front line, I'm gonna be right there.
Okay? I'm gonna be right there.
That's what I got from this part. My power, they're ready for battle, and pretty much let the enemy or the adversary know, like, okay, so if you want to keep playing games, you're gonna have to go through all of us, the masculine and the feminine. We are together, and while we are together, we're stronger as a unit than we are divided. Then the song Spirit comes on to end this Black is King visual album. The song Spirit comes on, and I feel like this is finally the moment where you not only acknowledge, but you accept your ancestry, and you also acknowledge and understand that from the beginning of time, the kingdom has always been within you. Stop searching for everything outside of yourself and start taking that journey deep within. That is what I got from Beyonce's Black is King visual album. It is amazing. I appreciate her for this. It's just kind of like on my whole frequency. And I hope you guys go and watch it. If you have watched it, make sure you put comments down in the comment section. Hopefully my review helped you. If you feel like it was confusing, it helped you to understand. I don't feel like in any type of way was it demonic. You showed that aspect of life Now it's so demonic, but it's something that you deal with on a daily basis. So you could be small-minded and see it that way, or you could see it for a representation of real life. Everybody sees that every single day. You have to make choices every single day. You deal with the conversation, as Jay-Z said, between the dark and the light. Ma'at versus Isfet, Isfat. If I'm saying it wrong, matter of fact, how do you say it? Just look it up and see.
Isfet.
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 Isfet. Okay. This is what people go through. They go through that dark stage where now you want to party, you drinking, you doing drugs, you having sex here and there. That's what you're doing. Yeah, this is the end. This was a long video, but I hope I helped you guys to understand it, at least from my own point of view. That is what I got. Black is king. I'll see you guys in the next video.